No, because I can remember they had found number 1 up in the Upper Peninsula, and he brought it back down here, you know, to refinish it. Actually, it was bought by a doctor in the Upper Peninsula. The boat never sailed on this lake. And anyway, he'd spent the whole time, and he finally got it ready to sail. And I came off the golf course, and they said in the golf shop, they said, Sean Ryan called. He wants you to get up the West Arm. You're going to be on the maiden voyage of number 1 on the lake. So it was a lot of fun. We went up there. Patrick had his boat and somebody else, and we fooled around. That boat is made out of cedar, and the maintenance on it is just terrible. Yeah, it's a mess. No, it's interesting because, when we raced, when I was racing with Dick, and he bought Bud Pohl's old boat, number 7. Bud never took care of the sails. Just laid them out in the lawn. So they had shrunk. So we had the flattest mainsail in the fleet. We could outpoint everybody by 3 degrees. So starting line, once we get a reasonable start, and we usually would, because Dick would be calling somebody for barging because he could outpoint everybody. If we got the windward mark, we won. It was as simple as that. And once, that one year that we won 9 out of 10 races, John Hopple got to the windward mark first. And he had a lighter boat. Hopple's boat had a lighter keel on it, so he was a little bit faster downwind. But I had great things. I was racing with Al Cameron. We were going down through the channel. We were opposite Limbacher's dock. And you could have walked. I was on Cameron's boat. Link Wilds was here, and Limbacher was the leeward boat. We're flying spinnakers, and we're sitting on a jibe. I mean, we're starting to, and we're the windward boat. And the Limbachers had told me years ago, he said, when the boat starts yawing like that, just shake the tiller a little bit, and it'll stop yawing. So I'm shaking the tiller a little bit. All of a sudden, I realized the tiller is not attached to the back of the boat. And we're on a spinnaker run. Al was as calm as could be. I just said, hey, Al, I got to lie backwards because I'm going to have to steer this boat by the post. He took down the spinnaker as calm as could be. We just went down to his buoy, which of course was straight downwind. It was the next mark anyway. We were still in 3rd place when we got there. So he was, and we won the series that year, sailing with him. He was really, you know, it was fun to do. But Dick and I had the most fun. We raced 3 years, 2 of us, you know, working jibs. The only people that ever had 3 people on a boat, I think, was Hopple, because his boat had a smaller keel, but rarely. And of course, there were no trapezes. In fact, I can remember I was in the race. We had a re-race of the last race of the series because I was racing with the Limbachers, and we had won this race, so we'd come in second. Everything was all set. Well, the Indian Guard buoy had broken loose during the race. So, of course, they decided, well, no, this isn't an actual race. So we had to resail it, which we didn't win it because we rounded pansies to go back up to Indian Gardens, and the backstay broke. So I'm trimming with nothing really holding on to the boom. But I remember the first time we went up to windward, I looked back and I thought, what's going on with that boat back there? I mean, how does that guy get out? So Al Cameron had put a trapeze on his boat, the first time it had ever been on a wreck. And it was interesting to go back and that. But I raced with the Limbachers a bunch of years. We would go on 2 spinnaker runs. We always got the spinnaker line twisted after the first one, so when we went to raise it the second time, things would be twisted. It was kind of a standard operating procedure. But one year their boat, what is inexplicable, their boat was so perfectly trimmed, and they didn't do it. Whoever put it in the water, you know, down at Size or Masters, it was so perfectly trimmed. That boat was flying. And both the boys were gone. Can't remember why. Well, they were in their 30s or something. They're working. So Mr. Limbacher asked me, it was the West Arm Day. And originally in that West Arm Day, they set up a box. And you had to, when the race started, you had to leave. You didn't have to be in the box, but if you went outside the box, you had to go back in the side you went out, and then you had to leave the box. So the Limbachers had figured out how to do this thing beautifully, and they, Bud Limbacher explained it to me, and we won that race by a mile. I mean, but the great thing was, the Limbachers had two spinnakers. One was a lightning spinnaker, had a skull and crossbones on a tiny thing. The other